Somebody shout, it's about to happen. Oh, I feel that thing already stirring in the atmosphere. Because when God gets ready to move, he doesn't send a notice. He doesn't send a text message. He doesn't post it on social media. He just shows up. And when he shows up, everything that was holding you down has to let you go. When God releases his power, sickness has to bow, fear has to flee, and chains have to break. You've been praying, you've been crying, you've been wondering, Lord, when is it going to turn around? And I came to tell you today, this is not the time to give up. This is not the time to throw in the towel, because the very thing you've been praying for is about to manifest right before your eyes. God said, I'm about to release my power over your situation, not just a touch. Not just a whisper, but a release, a flood, a downpour, a breakthrough that will shift everything in your life. Sometimes God lets the pressure build before the release. Like a dam holding back a river. You can't see it, but the water's rising behind the wall. And the enemy thought he had you contained, thought he could hold back your joy, your healing, your destiny. But God said, that wall is about to break. Every prayer you prayed, every tear you cried, every night you stayed up was adding pressure to your breakthrough. And when the appointed time comes, the power of God is going to burst forth and flood every dry place in your life. And don't you dare give up now, because the same God who shut the mouths of lions, who walked through the fire with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who rolled away the stone for Lazarus, that same God is about to move in your situation. You may not see it yet, but God is working behind the scenes. You may not feel it yet, but heaven has already dispatched angels on your behalf. You may not understand it yet, but his hand is on you even in the storm. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Because when God releases his power, your situation will never be the same again. He's releasing healing into your body. He's releasing favor over your finances. He's releasing restoration in your family. He's releasing peace in your mind. The power of God is not coming later. It's being released now. Somebody shout now. You've got to praise him like it's already done. You've got to worship him like the walls are already falling, because praise is the signal that tells heaven, I'm ready for the release. So lift your hands, lift your faith, lift your voice and declare, God, I receive your power over my situation. I believe my breakthrough is on the way. And I know you are about to release your power over my life. Don't you dare quit now. You're closer than it looks. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know you've been praying and pushing, crying and crawling, and you're wondering, God, when will it break? But hear me. Every time it looks like you're at the end, heaven whispers, you're closer than you think. The enemy wants to make you believe that the pressure means failure, but in reality, the pressure is proof that the promise is near. When a woman goes into labor, the pain intensifies right before the birth. The contractions come faster, the pressure gets stronger, and it feels unbearable. But it's a sign that something new is about to come forth. You are in that same moment right now. The pain you're feeling isn't punishment, it's purpose trying to push its way into your life. The tears you cried aren't wasted, they're watering the ground where your harvest is about to grow. You can't judge your progress by what you see. Sometimes God hides the miracle while he's building it. You've been faithful, but it feels like nothing's moving. You've been obedient, but doors keep closing. You've been sowing, but you haven't seen the fruit yet. But hear me, the farmer doesn't see the crop while the seed is in the soil. It looks dead, it looks buried, but it's not over. It's growing underground. God is working in the dark places you can't see. He's shifting, aligning, and setting things in order behind the scenes. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour, it's all been preparation for what's about to happen next. The enemy tried to distract you because he knows if you ever realize how close you are, you'll stop doubting and start declaring. You'll stop crying and start praising. You'll stop running from the fight and start running toward it. Because once you understand that the darkness is just before the dawn, you'll stop fearing the night. God hasn't forgotten you. You haven't been overlooked. You've been in development. There's an anointing being refined in you, a strength being forged, a faith being stretched. You're learning how to stand when it doesn't make sense, how to trust when you can't trace Him, how to praise when you don't see proof. That's what champions are made of. Not people who never fall, but people who refuse to stay down. So hold your ground, wipe your tears, straighten your shoulders and tell yourself, I'm closer than it looks. Because right when you feel like you can't take another step, that's when God steps in. Right when the pressure peaks, the breakthrough bursts forth. The storm that was meant to drown you will become the wind that carries you into your next season. You're almost there. Don't quit. Don't let go. Don't doubt what God whispered in the dark because of what you see in the light. You're closer than it looks, and what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. Keep pushing. The promise is about to manifest, and your miracle is already in motion. Stop crying over what you lost. It had to happen. I know that sounds hard to hear when your heart is still bruised, when the memory still stings, and when the why still echoes in your mind. But sometimes God allows what we thought we needed to fall apart so what we truly need can come together. What looked like rejection was really redirection. What felt like loss was actually liberation. It had to happen, because if it didn't, you'd still be depending on what God was trying to deliver you from. There are moments in life when everything seems to shatter. Relationships end, doors close, opportunities dry up. And in the middle of the wreckage, you start to question God. Why would you let this happen? But hear me, God never wastes a wound. Every tear, every heartbreak, every betrayal has a purpose. He's not punishing you, He's positioning you. He's not trying to break you down. He's trying to build you up in a way that can carry the weight of your calling. Think about Joseph, thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, locked in a prison for a crime he didn't commit. None of it made sense while he was going through it. But when he looked back, he realized it had to happen, because if he hadn't been in the pit, he never would have gone to Potiphar's house. If he hadn't been in Potiphar's house, he never would have been sent to the prison. And if he hadn't been in the prison, he never would have ended up in the palace. Every low place was a step toward destiny. What if what broke your heart was the very thing that made room for your healing? What if the person who walked away was actually making space for the one who's meant to stay? What if the job that ended was the push that forced you into your purpose? Sometimes God has to let things fall apart so you can stop clinging to what was and start reaching for what's next. You can't carry yesterday's weight into tomorrow's promise. You've been asking God to bless you, to elevate you, to enlarge your territory, but enlargement requires empty hands. He had to strip away the things that were crowding your faith so you could finally receive what He has for you. You can't grab hold of the new while your fists are still clenched around the old. So yes, it hurt. Yes, it confused you. Yes, it felt unfair. But hear me, it had to happen. If you hadn't cried, you wouldn't have prayed like you did. If you hadn't lost, you wouldn't have learned to trust Him like you do now. You came out wiser, stronger, sharper. You came out with scars that tell a story of survival. You came out knowing that God is faithful even when life isn't fair. So lift your head, dry your eyes, and thank God not just for what He gave, but for what He took away, because every ending was really an introduction to something greater. Tell yourself right now, it had to happen. God was never trying to hurt you. He was trying to help you become everything He created you to be. The fact that you're still standing is proof that hell couldn't handle you. You were built for this battle. You may feel weary, worn, and wounded, but you are still here. That alone is evidence that the enemy's best shot wasn't enough to take you out. You've been through storms that should have broken you, nights that should have crushed you, and battles that should have buried you. But here you are, breathing, believing, and still moving forward. That's not weakness, that's divine strength. That's the mark of someone who was built for this. You see, God doesn't design warriors in comfort, He forges them in fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure, gold is refined in the furnace, and faith is perfected in the storm. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. God allowed the battle not to destroy you, but to develop you. Because you can't know that God is a healer until you've been sick. You can't know He's a provider until you've been in need. You can't know he's your peace until you've been surrounded by chaos. Some of you are asking, why is this so hard? Why do I keep getting hit from every side? It's because there's something great inside you. The enemy doesn't attack the weak. He attacks the threat. If hell is fighting you this hard, it's because heaven has invested too much in you to let you go unnoticed. You are carrying something powerful. And the enemy knows it, so he throws everything he can fear, doubt, pain, betrayal, hoping you'll forget who you are. But you were not built to collapse, you were built to conquer. David didn't find his strength in the pasture. He discovered it in the battlefield. Facing Goliath wasn't a curse, it was confirmation. It was proof that God had equipped him for greater. And just like David, your Goliath isn't there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. The battle you're in is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It's a sign that he trusts you with the fight. So stop questioning your strength and start recognizing your assignment. You're not in this because you're weak. You're in this because you're chosen. You have survived what others couldn't. You have endured storms that made others quit, and you're still worshiping, still believing, still expecting. That's proof that God's hand is on you. When you walk through fire, you won't be burned. When you pass through deep waters, you won't drown, because the one who built you is also the one who's fighting for you. He's reinforcing you from the inside out. You may bend, but you won't break. You may stumble, but you won't fall. You may cry, but you won't quit. So lift your head and square your shoulders. Tell yourself, I was built for this. Every scar is a reminder that you survived. Every tear is a testimony that you overcame, and every trial is proof that God is preparing you for something bigger than the battle. You're not breaking, you're becoming. And when the dust settles, the world will see that you were built for this all along. Don't worry about how the story started. God is about to flip the script. You may have been counted out, written off, or pushed aside, but the author of your story is not finished writing. People may have closed the book on you, but they don't have the pen. God does. And when he decides to turn the page, everything that was working against you starts working for you. The same people who doubted you will have to watch God deliver you. The same ones who walked away will have to witness your comeback. There are times in life when it feels like the narrative of your existence is stuck on the wrong chapter. Betrayal, heartbreak, disappointment, loss. You start to believe that this is how your story ends. But God never leaves his children in defeat. He's the kind of God who specializes in plot twists. He'll let the enemy think he's winning, let your situation look hopeless, let the stage go dark, just so his glory shines brighter when he flips the script. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, thinking they had destroyed his destiny. But years later, the same brothers had to bow before him, not knowing that the one they betrayed had become the one who would save them. That's what happens when God flips the script. What was meant for evil, he turns around for good. The pit becomes a path, the prison becomes a platform, and the pain becomes part of your preparation. Stop crying over what didn't go your way. Stop worrying about who left you. Stop replaying the moments that hurt you. God is the ultimate editor. He knows how to rewrite what life tried to ruin. The rejection you faced wasn't the end of your story. It was the redirection to a greater chapter. Sometimes God will allow certain doors to close so the right ones can open. Sometimes he'll let people walk away because they can't handle where he's taking you. Don't get stuck rehearsing the first half of your story when God's about to reveal the best part. The same place where you were humiliated will be the place where you're elevated. The same mouth that spoke against you will have to speak your name in honor. The same situation that made you cry will soon make you rejoice. Because when God flips the script, he doesn't just change your circumstance, he changes your influence. You've been through enough to understand that God wastes nothing. Every setback, every delay, every no was a setup for his was. You're about to see how all the broken pieces fit together. You're about to walk into a chapter that makes the whole story make sense. So don't lose faith in the middle of the plot. The author hasn't stopped writing. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and get ready, because God is turning the page. What was meant to bury you is about to bless you. The script is flipping in your favor, and this time the story ends with victory. Just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. God hasn't forgotten you. He's not ignoring your prayers. And he hasn't changed his mind about the promise he made. What you've been waiting for is still on the way. It's just not ready yet. Sometimes the delay isn't about God's unwillingness to move. It's about his desire to prepare you to receive what you've been asking for. The blessing isn't late, it's maturing. And when it arrives, it will fit perfectly into the moment God designed for it. We live in a world that moves fast. We want instant results, immediate answers, and overnight miracles. But the kingdom doesn't operate on human schedules. God's timing is divine, not rushed. The delay is not denial, it's development. He's working in the unseen places, aligning circumstances, shaping hearts, and preparing everything necessary for your blessing to arrive right on time. Because a premature blessing can be just as dangerous as a denied one. If God gave it too soon, you might not be ready to handle it. Think about Abraham. God gave him a promise, but the fulfillment didn't come overnight. Abraham had to wait years before Isaac was born. In that waiting, his faith was stretched and strengthened. He learned to trust God's word even when there was no evidence it would come to pass. That's what waiting does. It builds a faith that won't crumble when storms come. The delay doesn't mean God said no. It means he's saying, hold on. I'm working something bigger than you can see. Sometimes God delays the blessing because he's still working on you. You're asking for the palace, but he's still shaping your character in the pasture. You're praying for elevation, but he's perfecting your humility. You're asking for the platform, but he's teaching you how to handle pressure. Because the greater the blessing, the stronger the foundation must be. If he gave it too early, the weight of it might crush you. But when he gives it at the right time, it will carry you, not break you. It's easy to get frustrated in the waiting season. You see others getting what you've been praying for, and you wonder, what about me? But don't confuse delay with neglect. You're not forgotten. You're being refined. God is not punishing you. He's preparing you. He's not withholding. He's building. He's not distant. He's deliberate. The delay is not a sign of distance, but of design. When the time comes, what once took years will happen in moments. Doors will open, opportunities will align, and favor will flow like a river. And when it happens, you'll realize why you had to wait, because the delay gave the blessing depth. It taught you patience, endurance, and trust. So keep believing, keep praying, and keep waiting with expectation. God's not denying you. He's delivering something better than what you imagined. The delay isn't holding you back. It's positioning you for a miracle that's worth the wait. You've cried your tears. You've fought your battles. You've carried your cross. But this is not the end of your story. God is not finished with you yet. Everything you've gone through has been leading to this moment. The pain had purpose, the pressure had meaning, and the waiting had value. I came to tell somebody, your next chapter will be greater than your last. What broke you is about to bless you. What the enemy meant for evil, God is about to turn it for good. The same God who brought you through the fire is the same God who's about to lift you higher. So don't you dare quit now. Stand tall, lift your head, and declare, this is my season of release. This is my season of breakthrough. This is my season of power, because when God shows up, he doesn't show up halfway. He shows up in full power, full favor, and full glory. The struggle was real, but so is your strength. The battle was fierce, but so is your faith. And the God who started a good work in you will finish it with fire. Now give him praise like it's already done. Worship him like the door is already open. Rejoice like the victory is already yours, because eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and hearts have not imagined the blessing that's about to hit your life.